children of the night. What music they make. They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
Hola! Welcome to Final Guys. How's everybody doing tonight, fellas?
Not bad.
I got my halo. How's that look?
No, you do. You're very angelic.
What the hell is that about? What is behind you?
Someone sent me a so bad it's good sign.
Oh, there we go. Well,
It
it's the only
lights up.
time you'll ever be considered angelic. Good for you.
I kind of like this look. I might go for it all the time.
I could use my balding head to do a reflection behind me.
We'll put those ring lights right behind us. Blind everybody.
Tonight is a fiesta because we are going to talk about Satanic Hispanics, an anthology movie that I saw a couple weeks ago and recommended to everybody, and we'll see if everybody wants to kill me or agrees with me.
Good question.
Depends on which segment we're talking about.
Well, I would agree with that.
Mm.
All right. Any of you guys have anything to report before we get going?
I do. Beat you, Jason. So, I'm in talks with the Addams family. I'm not talking Morticia and Gomez.
Nice.
The real Addams family of filmmakers. So we're going to have them on Monster Men, hopefully very soon, so we can get an episode out before the holiday to talk about their latest movie, what's coming up next, and I have some really bizarre questions for them that I'm sure nobody's ever asked.
Oh, man, I was hoping you could get him over here, man.
I'm not going to waste it here. So
I got all kinds of nice stuff to say to them.
We got to work them into getting us into a movie. We don't have time for anybody else.
We are working on Joe Lansdale. The Let's Talk About Chad Lutsky episode with Joe Lansdale. So we're going to work on that too.
I could add a little flashback in right in the middle of the episode to show Joe a little conversation we had.
No, don't do that.
Lansdale's Revenge.
That would be the greatest episode. That would be the greatest crossover episode of all time.
It'd be great if you just did like the like a Jerry Seinfeld when Kramer has Merv Griffin's set in his house, and then he surprises Jerry with his girlfriend who's he's been
Yes.
putting to sleep. Well, Chad, we've got a surprise for you. Joe Lansdale's here. And all of a sudden he pops out the window.
Hey, just because I said I didn't like one story.
We'll have everybody that Chad hasn't liked. It would just be a Chad love fest.
Barbara Crampton from
No. I didn't say I didn't like her.
Ladies and gentlemen, Heather Graham.
the cast of the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Oh, God.
And Tim Meyer. Nobody likes it.
Oh,
Oh,
I loved you.
Yeah, we only have Tim on here to beat up on Tim, not on anybody else.
exactly. Tim is a fucking speed bag. I love Tim.
All right, with that out of the way, then Jason, do you have anything?
Jason has something.
Oh, I was just going to say, because of the holidays, I've had to move up opening this garbage behind me a week. So I'm doing that this Sunday. And God only knows. There's a big box here I'm a little nervous about. Hopefully there isn't a head in it, but that'll be Sunday at 5. So come say hello.
By the way, Sunday at 5, I'll be at Shankweiler's Drive-In, the oldest drive-in in America. They're showing a double feature of Christmas Vacation and Scrooged.
Wow.
I cannot wait.
Wow.
I tell Scrooged, I tell people about Scrooged all the time. It's one I watch almost every Christmas, and people are like, really? I'm like, yes, it's awesome.
Somebody I know just watched that movie and was like, I just saw the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And when they said Scrooge, I was like, oh, wow.
That's not the worst movie. They haven't seen many movies.
I haven't seen it.
to them.
I haven't seen it in so long. I need to. Maybe I'll watch that this year.
Well, you're talking to Michael Clark.
What do you guys think of Elf? I can't stand that movie, and everybody
Elves?
loves
Elves
it.
is awesome.
No,
No, Elf. I love
No,
Elf.
elves.
Yeah,
Elves is great.
It's
Are
got
you a goddamn Nazi or something?
It's got dreamy Zoe Deschanel in it, for God's sakes.
Baby,
watch
it's cold
New
out
Girl.
there.
I do.
I love Elf. By the way, in Elf, when Artie Lang was the Santa at Bloomingdale's, he was whacked out on like freaking heroin when he did that scene. It just adds a little extra flavor to it.
I will say this though, Chad. It's very easy to get oversaturated with Elf and A Christmas Story and all the other Christmas movies because now, remember when like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was on once a year, and if you missed it, you were screwed.
Yeah.
And now it's like we're showing Elf every day
Yeah.
on 6 channels. So
The best part of Elf is when the main character finds out that her grandfather isn't just her grandfather, but also her father. That's my favorite scene.
What are you talking about?
He's talking about elves.
Elves. How do you not remember the greatest dialogue ever?
By the way, last night we watched A Christmas Story here, like because we got the tree up. I got a 14-foot tree that nearly killed me. Had to cut it down, drag it across the field, bring it in the house. And I just realized, I'm like, I've never watched a movie more times than A Christmas Story. It has to be at least 100 because I've been watching it since it came out in the theaters nonstop.
Every movie
I've seen,
you say you've seen it.
I've seen Jaws more.
But no,
Sorry, Chad, what did you say? I've talked to you. Sorry.
Every time Hunter says that he's seen
No.
a movie, he's always seen it like 100 times.
no, I'm not kidding. There's no hyperbole. It's probably 100 times. The next closest might be some movie I've seen maybe 15, 20 times, maybe.
You're a vampire. You're like 490 years old.
I definitely am. But
trying
like
to
A
think
Christmas
what
Story, I'm going to
Christmas-
watch 4 times between now and Christmas.
That's the thing. You see
Start
it so
to
many
finish.
times a year.
Yeah.
I
I'll
think
tell you
Die
what,
Hard might be the one I've seen the most.
And I haven't seen that in years. I gotta
Christmas movie,
rectify
that is. I make sure I watch that at least every
Mm.
Christmas.
There's so many good Christmas movies out there. They don't all have to be saccharine and sweet. Better watch out. Watch that.
somebody's mentioned Fat Man in the.
Fat Man was so good. And Violent Night. We watched Violent Night last week.
I'm going to
can
watch
watch
that.
it over and over.
It's not Christmas until somebody falls off Nakatomi Plaza. That is the way I see it every year.
I like it. You have rules, standards.
It's
That's
not
the way it
Christmas
is.
until Billy pokes his eye through the crack in the door.
I
It's not
watch
Christmas
that a lot.
Yeah. It's not Christmas until I look at my bank account and go, fuck!
It's Rankin and Bass for me. I got to see Rudolph and Santa Claus coming to town and Heat Miser and Snow Miser.
We did Heat Miser, Snow Miser. So Rudolph is, no, Santa, one of them's tonight. I'm not in charge.
Burgermeister. It's not Christmas till Burgermeister Meisterburger.
The
Loves
Meister
yo-yos.
Meisterburger.
A yo-yo. Okay, let's get to some horror news then.
No.
Okay, it was got to be in the news.
All right. Drinking words.
I'm lying. It wasn't good.
All right. I'm going to do the drinking words. I'm in charge now, Jack. I've taken control. All right.
Do
Thank
your
you, Sharon
words.
Bradford, for the drinking words. As always tonight, as you all know, you must take a drink or whatever you choose to imbibe with tonight when we say these words. Jack's words are one Spanish vampire, Salma Hayek. My words are hammer, short, and ghosts. Jason's are uneven frame and language. Chad's be generic witch and rapper with a W. And our bonus words are Godzilla, dong, and anthology. I like the dong.
Yeah, the
Ding
dong
dong.
will definitely come up. Hey.
All right, now let's get to the news.
It's the news. Yay.
Before we get started, a question: is Joe Bob this Friday? The
I
Christmas?
believe so, yes.
Oh,
I believe so.
yes.
We're
I
gonna
wore this just in
Bob
case.
is this
Nice.
weekend, and if you listen to this some other time, it's not. Okay, this one is for you, Hunter.
Yes.
Have you heard about the secret Bigfoot movie that's being made?
No.
Sasquatch Sunset, starring Jesse Eisenberg and Riley Keough.
What?
These two are in it. Let's see if I can find the log line for this one is simple. A year in the life of a singular family. So there's some speculation that they might be playing Bigfoots,
I gotta
Get
unbuckle
outta
my
here.
pants.
but there's no confirmation on that. But they're in it. I guess apparently this has been hush hush, and finally somebody broke it.
I don't know if I
They
can
already
handle this.
the guys Zellner brothers directed Sasquatch Birth Journal 1 and 2. I'm sure you have like the Blu-ray of that.
Dude, I never even heard
Yeah,
those
what is that?
movies.
They premiered as Bigfoot shorts, or it's just premiered as shorts at Con.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, okay. Call me when you make a big movie.
Riley Keough is like fire, man. Like did you
Yeah.
see what was that? The Lodge?
Yes. I love The Lodge.
I can't even think of who she is.
She's Elvis's granddaughter.
She played The Lodge. She was the place they stayed in.
Isn't she the girl in It Only Comes at Night that the kid is like kissing her in the dream?
She might be.
I think she is.
That's for the chat to do some research on.
You got to look up. She's in a movie that's
okay.
based on a true story that this stripper wrote on Twitter in tweets that recounts her trip to Florida with this other stripper, where they get into all kinds of trouble with these drug dealers and everything. It's crazy, and you can actually read, if you look it up, you can read I read the whole Twitter thread, and then they made a movie out of it, and the movie's great. Like, look up Riley Keough, and you can find the movie and trace the steps.
Get out of here.
Spectacular.
By the way, George Bonnie brought up, if you don't believe in Bigfoot, watch Thinker Thunker. Now, he's a guy on YouTube. I can't stress enough, if you're a Bigfoot enthusiast, you got to watch him. He has this proportional DNA system he has, and also audio DNA to tell if anything is a Bigfoot or not, which is just fantastic.
Audio DNA.
So yes, he compares audio sounds, compares it to other animals, and if it's outside the range, then it's unknown.
Audio DNA sounds like a pretend thing.
The proportional DNA is the best because he's always comparing like Shaq to a Bigfoot and the proportions of arms, legs, and torso. I was like, wow, man, that's some balls right there. But Thinker Thunker, he's got a Patreon page, which I contribute to because he is fascinating to me.
All right. Well,
That's the best.
let's keep an eye out for Sasquatch Sunset, and I feel a main feature coming up in our future.
Oh, it's in my present now. I'm gonna find it somehow.
Does anybody remember this show? It was a big deal, but it was a long time ago. Stranger Things.
Is that the one with the kids?
Yeah.
It was like a mall.
Yeah, they were in a mall.
The
was,
kid
like,
named after a
upside
number?
down or something like that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's actually coming back for season 5. And they're starting to film it. They officially are going to start filming it in January.
Are the kids all in assisted living now?
I looked up. Millie Bobby Brown is 19 years old.
Wow. With John Bon Jovi's kid.
Yeah, she's married to John Bon Jovi's kid.
Look at her.
She's married?
She's engaged. I don't know if she's married yet. I don't think she is, but
That's
Yeah.
fine. All right.
Lay your hands on me. Lay your hands on me.
When is it supposed to come back?
well, they're filming it in January, so sometime 2025.
2025, I bet.
2025?
Yeah.
Why?
And then
What?
that's the last season of Stranger Things proper, but then there's going to be the Stranger Things universe where they'll tell other stories with other people.
Nobody's going to care.
Gotta milk it dry.
It's like, who watches Walking Dead spinoffs? Not me.
Nobody. It's like
Well-
Disney. Disney's failing because of all this crap.
Disney's failing because they suck and because of the multiverse. I mean, the Stranger Things, once you're done with this season, you do a spin-off show with just one of the kids, maybe two. Then you don't have to pay this insanely huge cast.
None of them. They're going to go to other. It's going to be like
randomly affected townspeople.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Nobody's going to care about that.
there's other stories in the Upside Downiverse.
No.
I mean, the last season, when it started again, because, they take 7 years between seasons, I was like, there are so many characters, I forgot most of them are even in the show. It's stupid how large the show is now. It's just ridiculous.
It's been on 7 years, right? It's been 7 years since it started. I think 2016.
Is the 4th season out? I haven't even finished
Yeah.
the 3rd.
So the 4th season is broken into 2 things. So I
That's
never
right.
watched the last part, which is like 2 hour and a half episodes or something. I never watched it.
I saw the whole
it's
thing,
decent.
but if in 2025 when I go to watch it, I'm not going to remember much beyond. Oh yeah, that's the girl who could mind read or whatever.
Jason Ramirez is like, so glad Stranger Things are striking while the iron is hot.
Yeah, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, they had the biggest show on TV for, it was like Game of Thrones and Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And now it's like, does anybody give a shit? It's been
No.
so long.
I didn't care enough to finish the last season, much less another. Good God.
How old is
Wow.
Hopper going to be by the time that guy's going to be retired?
By the way, we bought their ice cream. They're Stranger because they had the ice cream shop in the mall, so we bought it. It's the worst ice cream you've ever had in your life. It's in my daughter. Her favorite thing to eat is ice cream, and she was like, as soon as she ate it, I started putting it in the sink and started running the hot water into the half gallon. It's like, oh boy. And it was just black shit pouring out of it. It was so disgusting.
Well, a sequel that you're not going to have to wait so long for is coming September 27th of 2024. It's a little movie called Saw 11.
Oh my!
Keep it going,
God.
boys.
Just wanted to let you guys know you thought that you were done, and I'm pulling you back in.
I did think that
You'll
that
never
was
get
this
out.
was it.
No way. This one made over $100 million.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
honestly, what I think they're looking at right now is, I just learned this today. Tobin Bell is 81 years old.
What?
So-
He played 11 in Stranger Things.
Right.
81?
Yeah, I would be willing to bet the studio is looking at this like, we have to crank out as many of these as possible right now.
They're going to Angus Scrim him until the very end.
They got to scan him and Gollum.
They could just use They could
Avatar
just
him.
use one of the cult members. One of the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Saw
but
cult members.
the only one of these movies he wasn't in was the Chris Rock one. No, two of them.
I think they should
Two of them he's not in.
figure out a way to have Tobin Bell's essence come back, but it's in a big blue tube with light like Zordon from the Power Rangers. And he talks to people and, do you want to play a game? But he's in the Zordon thing. That's my
No, what will happen is Tobin Bell will be cruising cross country with his puppet, and he'll get struck by lightning, and it'll knock him into a nuclear waste plant, and then his spirit will go into the puppet, and then there's the rest of your franchise done
Oh
by
my
Troma.
God. And what's his face in Troma will jump out wearing a dress and go, "Welcome to another Saw."
Did they never watch MacGyver? How many times did Murdoch get killed in MacGyver, and the next season he's just back? They don't explain how he lived. He's just got a scar and he's okay. Just do that. He's just got a scar on his neck. He's fine.
Holy cow.
Honestly, I'd be willing to bet they're going to be recording him for future movies, not having a story. They're just going to record him talking like with real generic shit, and then they can just put him in future stuff. Because without him, Saw is toast. And I did not know he was that old. He looks phenomenal.
Jesus.
I'll save that for my review in 10 minutes.
Well, I just wanted to drop that on you because I know we're going to be talking about Saw later. So that's all the news that's fit to print. So let's get to what we watched.
Thank you, Jack.
We have such sights to show you.
All right. We're going to go down to Hunter, then over to Chad, then up to Jason, and then to me.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Hunter.
All right. I just thought of my dream like sex scene, like explicit, like wieners and vages and asses. Tobin Bell and Lynn Shay, who's 80. I want to see that.
Lynn Shay is 80?
Yeah. So that's
What?
the coupling. They should call the movie The Coupling. And I want to see that.
Chad's going to AZ nude. Lynn Shay.
Mind blowing. Lynn Shay naked. All right. I went to the movies to see Godzilla Minus One. By the way, did you know where the Minus One comes from?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you do. So the war took Japan to 0, and Godzilla brought them to Minus One.
I didn't know that till I heard it on something afterwards.
It's the worst conceptual naming of a movie of all time. But whatever, it's fucking Japan. They can do whatever they want. So we
That's
went to the
really
theater
bad.
to see this. I went with high expectations, both from what I heard, from talking to you, Jack. This is the best Godzilla movie ever made by a freaking mile. Everything they got right in this. They got, first of all, supposedly they made this movie for $15 million.
$15 million.
The CGI is all in the daytime and it looks perfect. It's amazing. And they got the people story right. Like the whole concept of a kamikaze pilot who was living with the guilt of not carrying out his mission, and B, when he chickened out on his mission, not saving the guys on the island he went to like do a pit stop on as Godzilla came out of nowhere, and then forming this kind of makeshift family with another refugee, this woman who found a baby that was by itself. This beautiful story of this weird, unfulfilled makeshift family and his friends, and they would go out on this boat, and their job, the only way you could make money was to go out and just explode these mines that America had dropped everywhere and just blow them up so that way you could do, your general boating out there and fishing. And then Godzilla is effing terrifying. This is the scariest Godzilla ever.
Godzilla makes eye contact with people in this movie. That's the scariest thing I've ever seen Godzilla do.
You're just going to crap yourself.
I didn't realize until Jason showed all these pictures that Godzilla looks like Godzilla.
Yes.
The
Which is
old
pretty
school
cool.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were
Godzilla.
a kid watching Godzilla and then like Jurassic Park happened and you go, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have a Godzilla movie with like this kind of special effects? This does it because it stays true to the Godzilla legacy,
Yes.
but updates it.
He's not your hero who's going to help you fight another monster. He is unfinished business that's going to take care of what the war couldn't finish you out on. There are scenes in the water in bright daylight where he is swimming and like, his back is above the water. You won't breathe when you watch these scenes. Like I realized I wasn't even taking a breath in them. This movie is fucking amazing. It's the
awesome,
best
man.
movie I've seen all year. Hands down.
Is
Not
it
just-
dubbed or subtitled?
Subtitled.
Good. Okay.
So yeah, it's not just the best Godzilla movie. It's the best movie of the year. I'm telling you, I don't even have to check my list anymore. This is it. Nailed it. I've been waiting for this movie as a Godzilla kid all my life. And it delivered.
Damn. You guys are talking this up a lot.
Dude, when the Godzilla music finally comes on, boner. Straight turgid as I could ever be. I can't tell you. And my wife, who could not give a shit about Godzilla, walked out and she's like, that movie was amazing. I'm like, yeah.
You could take Godzilla out of this movie and still have a good movie.
Yes, they've never gotten the human element right. Ever. They've gotten it kind of okay, but usually it's just filler, right? It's just nonsense. This is a great story too. Like I didn't want that part to end either. So Godzilla,
I kept waiting to get bored with the human stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait, am I really at a Godzilla movie? Because I'm not like whining about when's Godzilla coming back.
and you got more and more invested as it went on. And man,
All right.
Eric,
I wanted to go last week, but I didn't have time. Maybe I can go this week.
dude,
Sounds amazing.
that it should be a thing where Americans cannot make Godzilla movies ever.
Seriously.
Stop. Now, Japan has an issue, but Shin Godzilla from like 5 years ago, great movie too.
I need to watch that.
They're doing it right. We have no clue how to make a Godzilla movie. Not one.
Well,
clue.
I mean, it's not like Japan was batting 1,000 either.
Well, no, they were
A
batting
lot better than the
1,000.
U.S., but
Think about the Japanese ones, though. They're more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's more. I love going back and watching old Godzilla movies with the guy in the suit because there's just something awesome about that. But then, like, when you take a concept like Godzilla, the cheesiness about it makes it part of the fun. I don't know. This American stuff it takes itself too seriously.
No
and-
offense, Vera Farmiga.
yeah, there's
Godzilla
good
movie
moments in them. When King Kong like punches Godzilla on the battleship or whatever, that was like kind of cool. But
Oh, that movie was so stupid.
Well, that's why I love that movie. That
It's so bad, it's good.
the story is so terrible.
did you
Yeah.
see the trailer for the new one yet?
Huh.
Dude, King Kong has the Infinity Gauntlet on.
That's crazy.
Yes. They're putting like $300 million into these movies. They're just nonsense.
By the way, the destructive power of Godzilla in this movie is beyond anything you'd imagine. Like, you would pray for an atom bomb to go off on you as opposed to what he can do.
Interesting.
It's crazy. So I can't suggest this movie enough to people. Just see it in the theater while you can. And somebody said the sound design is amazing. See it in the theater. Yes, you're not going to repeat this in your house, no matter how bitchin' you think your system is. It's not going to replicate what they
The
do.
Godzilla scenes really are so cool. And there's parts of it that feel like Jaws when they're in the water.
Yes.
Dang. All right.
Yeah.
You
See
guys
it.
are talking this up so much. I don't know that it's going to live up to expectations.
It will. If it doesn't live up, I'll punch you in the balls.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Gauntlet thrown.
All right. I guess, Chad, what you got? Follow that up.
I'm so excited.
He's like, I saw X.
You're on mute, Chad.
You're muted.
Okay, I got it.
He's like a silent movie. He's in black and
Yeah,
white
black
and
and
no
white.
sound.
Somebody start playing a piano.
How long
Throw
have you been
title
muted?
card.
Because you haven't said anything in a while. Have you been talking and we just couldn't hear you?
No, I've been muting myself a lot.
Okay. Tell your family.
No, I haven't been talking.
Trash about us.
He's pulling away.
Yeah, I'm talking under my breath. I can't hold it back, so I
Stupid
need to
Hunter
mute
and Jack.
myself.
Stupid Godzilla.
No, over on Tubi, there's a movie from 1971 called See No Evil that I'd never heard about before, starring Mia Farrow, is a blind woman.
I know that. I know. I've never seen that movie, but I know the trailer.
Fresh off Rosemary's Baby.
She's been blinded in an accident, I believe, after being thrown from a horse, and now she's returned to her family's country manor after a long hiatus. Nearby is an old lover that she may rekindle with, and they start hanging out again. And she finds herself riding again, the horse, not the guy. And anyway, while riding out with this guy, the horse, not the guy, she comes home to the house full of corpses, which she can't see. So everybody that she was living with is dead, and they're all still there. And those scenes are pretty cool.
But she can't see them.
Right. She has no idea.
Oh,
So she goes about her daily duties and unaware that there's this serial killer on the loose stalking her. And the fun part is for us as voyeurs trying to figure out who did all this. Of course, you got your red herrings and stuff like that. Very slow burn, eerily quiet, because everyone's gone and she's, just being quiet and doing her thing, making coffee, spinning some records, taking a nap. I like this movie quite a bit. It has a great twist, a little bit of gore, and Farrow does a great job as portraying a blind woman. There's not much to say without giving spoilers. And if you're anything like me, who wants to know nothing about a movie, I've already ruined it for you. But if you're looking for a good thriller from the 70s that you probably haven't seen before, you should head over to Tubi and check this out.
I can't believe I haven't heard of this.
See No Evil. Yeah, me neither. And I started watching it and I was like, oh, cool, 1971. Okay, Mia Farrow. What?
Wasn't there a
Never
Richard
heard of it.
Pryor, Gene Wilder movie called See No Evil?
Yeah,
That was-
something like that. Speak No Evil.
I think it was called Speak No Evil. Yeah,
Maybe it's See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
yeah, something like that.
There's a thing there where they're taking a picture, a license picture, Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor in that movie. That is hilarious.
It's been a long time since I've
It's a
seen
blind
that
guy. I watched that movie like 2 years ago.
It's See
Actually,
No Evil, Hear No Evil,
Hunter,
1989.
that movie, I think there's scenes in like the Poconos. They're at like the Mount Airy Lodge or something like that.
Get out of here.
One of those lodges.
Well, that's a casino now, so we got to make it a point to go there and do some gambling.
Yeah. All right, what you got there, Jason?
I read a book I actually want to talk about. Yay! It's The House Across the Lake, I think is the name of it, by Riley Sager.
Oh, yes. I know that book quite well.
Yeah, I did not know this was even out. Saw it a couple weeks ago, grabbed it. I've talked about this guy's books a couple of times now. He is just a great thriller writer. This one is set up, I don't want to say like a Hitchcock story, but it's a kind of a mystery.
It's a Rear Window kind of thing.
Yeah, so
Like
maybe
he always
Hitchcock is
pulls
right.
from an existing like famous movie or trope. He's good.
It's about an alcoholic actress who is trying to disappear from the spotlight for a while, and she moves into a house on a lake with only a couple other people living there. She meets another famous neighbor who then goes missing, and the story is this drunken idiot trying to figure out what happened to her neighbor, and like things are going sideways, and she's like, "I need to get hammered right now." When it's like kind of interesting.
She didn't have the excuse of having to do a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. It's different. The whole time you're trying to figure out who the killer is, and I guarantee you cannot guess. It is utterly impossible. So I liked that. I don't know how much I loved the ending because it did feel very unexpected, particularly for a Riley Sager book, but that also made it more interesting to me because I could not predict it at all. And it was just an enjoyable read, particularly for a book where almost nothing happens for the first 3 quarters. It's just a drunken woman watching her neighbors with binoculars and then talking to people trying to figure out what happened. That's 3 quarters of the book, but it's so well written. It's a fascinating read. So
yeah,
The House Across the Lake. Good.
She's such a mess. I sympathized. I love
Yeah.
this book.
It was like looking at myself 10 years from now.
Like, oh God,
Just
I better
without
straighten
money or fame or talent. But
Or
otherwise,
a
we're the
lake
same.
house. I can't afford a lake house.
He's
I got a
just
cabin
selling-
by the creek.
Selling bad Blu-rays on
Yeah.
Craigslist, trying to pay the
Not
rent.
the house across the lake. It's the van
Oh
down
my
by
God.
the river. But otherwise, it's the
Can you
same.
imagine the day where Jason like tries to get us to help him like ship all his shitty movies out to the post office so he can pay the rent?
I've made a shelter out of DVD cases.
How many BTUs does burning a DVD get you?
You can reflect the sunlight with them.
Oh man.
I watched a new Christmas horror movie called There's Something in the Barn.
What?
It stars Martin Starr, who you might
Oh.
remember from Party Down or Silicon
Down.
Valley, or he's in the Spider-Man movies. He's one of the teachers. He's the dude with the beard.
Always an asshole.
Yeah. Freaks and Geeks. Anywho, I saw the trailer for this and it looked like it had like a Gremlins Violent Night hybrid kind of thing going. It's about a family that moves to Norway back to like his childhood home, or he's inheriting a place. And there's a barn, and it turns out that in the barn is a barn elf / barn elves, which are like, they look like gnomes. They're little, like that guy, little
Oh, there
old
we go.
guys. And there's rules kind of similar to Gremlins as to like, they don't like bright light and loud noises and stuff. And naturally there's Christmas lights and all that kind of stuff going on. So I was like, okay, 2023. I like funny movies. I like horror movies. I'll give it a shot. It's a weirdly uneven movie. I think I was having trouble figuring out, is this like a kids movie or like a general audience kind of thing? Is it more comedy than horror? And I felt like the first half is like not much happens. You're getting to know everybody, and then it's like kind of just when you're about to be like, come on, all of a sudden like they hit the gas and some really awesome stuff happens. But then it kind of like gets the edges get worn down a little bit again. They take the edge off a little bit, and so I walked away just kind of like, I feel like it was kind of a miss. Like it had some great moments in it, but it didn't have like Violent Night just has like that over the top.
It's better every time you watch it, by the way.
Yeah, like this, I felt like it wasn't like quite funny enough. And then like for a minute there, like there's a few kills that you're like, yes, okay, here we go. And then they kind of don't keep up the momentum. So I paid a few bucks to see it. If you're really looking for something, it's not terrible or anything like that. It's fine, but I would have preferred, I think, like if this came on Shudder, but I'm like, oh, that was all right. But just, I'd give it like a C+.
Gotcha. Good Shudder watch, not great rental.
Yeah.
If I brought home a C+, my dad would have smacked me in the head. So there you go. All right, my turn?
Your turn.
My turn. All right, so I was in a Godzilla mode. So I said, let me go back to an old Godzilla movie. And I went and watched Godzilla versus Mothra, which on Tubi said Godzilla versus The Thing. I was like, because I was like, The Thing? I don't remember that, but it turned out to be Mothra. It's from the 50s. I know that we kind of like equate drug culture ushering in with the 60s. Whoever wrote this fucking movie and greenlighted it and made it or were so high on DMT, I don't PCP, I don't know. But when you're having your rubber Godzilla battling a effing butterfly controlled by two miniature Japanese women who sing to it, what the fuck are you doing?
Is it this one? Can you tell?
Yeah, that's the one. 64. That looks like it. Yeah, I think.
I'll bring up some images.
It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, look at this. That helps. It's a drawing from some kid in 3rd grade. Yeah, that's the one. There you go.
Okay.
Once I saw that. So, yeah, this egg washes ashore, this giant multicolored egg that gets bought by some dude. He buys it from the fishermen who fish that area of the water so he can bring the egg back onto land and create like a theme park around it and have people come pay to look at the egg. And then they're going to watch the egg hatch. But all the while, these two little Japanese ladies who are about, this high enter the picture going, please release the egg. Please release the egg. Because it was Mothra's egg. And then they have to go to the island where, the villagers are dedicated to Mothra. Mothra, meanwhile, is like waiting for this egg to hatch so Mothra can just, go off into that good night and die. But poor Mothra has to go travel back to Japan to battle Godzilla, who's popped out of nowhere and is naturally headed towards the egg to just kick the living shit out of the egg. So he's fought by Mothra's wings, creating wind. At one point, Mothra grabs him by the tail and drags him away from the egg. And then she throws poisonous pollen on him. I'm like, what the F were you guys smoking?
I've seen this. I'm remembering this looking at the images.
Yeah.
This was like a classic on the 430 movie every
Yeah.
year.
It was. And it's in color. Mothra's really colorful. The egg is really colorful. Godzilla has these weird, like, fucking eyebrows in this version.
It's
His
the
eyes
Andy-
look like his
Andy
mom
Rooney.
drank when she was pregnant.
He looks like a thalidomide baby. But and then, by the way, the egg hatches, then Godzilla has to battle the two larvae that come out there, these two fucking inchworms. This movie, if you can survive the first like 45 to 50 minutes, which is a lot of talking and nonsense, again, getting the people parts wrong. The last half of it is so stupid. It's fun as hell. And
That's
I
the
loved
beauty
it.
of the clicker, dude. You'll fast
I was
forward.
hanging in. I just kept pausing and doing stuff and going back. But it was all the fun I used to have as a kid. And I remember that, and I'm like, oh, this is why I loved Godzilla movies. So it's a worthy addition. It's not the best foe Godzilla's ever had, but it's as an adult, you're like, what was going on in this? I want to know what went on behind the scenes. They just kept throwing shit out there and just going, oh, that sounds good.
Wow.
So it's on Tubi. There's a bunch of
I-
Godzilla movies on Tubi.
I was probably 10 the last time I saw this. 12.
It's been a long time for me too. So
Wow. Very cool.
Tina
I just
mentioned
want to.
Gamera. Gamera movies are also freaking HR puffing stuff trips.
Isn't Gamera the one
Turtle.
where the little kid like gets kidnapped?
Yeah, the two kids and they shave their heads off and they're kidnapped by aliens. It's like, what the hell is going on here? So
I loved Gamera.
yeah, they're all fun.
I just want to say, Tote says that he has sent me 521 movies.
What?
That is
What the hell is wrong with him?
insane. That's why we have a sign in front of the wall that says Toten's Wall of Garbage.
I don't
That's-
have 521 movies.
That's wild.
And I thought I had a lot.
Holy shit, man. It's
Well,
hardcore.
You better put them in the will, dude. Will
let's
all
see.
those movies back to him.
I have a stack of movies beside me. How many do I have to go down so I get to Toten? 3. There you go.
Oh my lord, Mike, we got to talk. You know what, Toten, Jack and I are going to have a conversation.
Nope, nope.
separately.
Nope.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a
Quiet. Chad,
talk.
what did you watch?
We got to help you out, dude.
You can't have Toten. Toten's fine.
Yeah. In a couple months, I'm going to steal Toad.
We don't
No.
want him to send us movies. We just want to set him
I-
on the
I wouldn't
straight
do
and
that.
narrow.
What are you doing? Take a look in the mirror, man.
No. It's keeping me afloat.
God,
And I can heat my house with these. when I
keep you
go
afloat. He's drowning you. You're drowning, Jason.
I do have stacks of movies everywhere.
Remember in the Bronx Tale when Robert De Niro tells kid like no, it's Chaz Palminteri. The kid's got the Yankee hat and he goes, "What's Mickey Mantle ever do for you? Does Mickey Mantle give a crap if your dad can't pay the rent?"
Come on, Colangelo.
Kawaja. That's it. That's us talking to him. What does Jason Brandt care for you?
Shut up, guys.
I watched
Chad.
Colangelo when a fucking high as a kite rant outside in the middle of the road one night with a guy across the street.
Hey, C, cut it out.
It was like a month before he robbed a house and they shot somebody in the Bronx. So we could see he was on a bad path. He was not living the Bronx tale. He was living the Yonkers tale.
All right.
Well,
Jason and I were done. Well, until Jack came in and ruined the fun with his announcement of Saw 11. But Saw X, we saw it. Just came out this year. Rented it on Prime. Jason, thanks for joining me on this journey.
You know what?
All in
I was surprised at the quality, and then it really started to tail off, and I was getting annoyed because I'm like, there's so much shit I have to watch this year, and I'm watching Saw.
you agreed.
All in
I
all,
did.
I'd say there were probably only 3 of the 10 that I didn't really care for. One of those is Saw X. At 2 hours long, a third of this movie is establishing sympathy for John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, as he gets grifted and then seeks revenge. It's actually probably the best part of the movie, honestly. But that part doesn't really feel like a Saw movie. It's very, very different. I don't want to get into the plot because it involves a spoiler. That'd be a shame if I ruined. But this one does have Jigsaw flying to Mexico, where apparently he smuggled his giant puppet and tricycle and machinery or whatever into the carry-on. So this is I like Tobin Bell. I don't remember seeing. I know I've seen him in other stuff, but because I'd only seen the first couple Saws, well, I guess maybe the first 4, but couldn't really remember 3 and 4. I learned to appreciate him much more, and he is really good in this. it was nice to see him as play this as much as he probably had a blast. I don't know, but that was also part of the problem, and what pulled it away from feeling. I mean, it's much more of a Saw movie than that Spiral was, for sure. But it's hard to say because these movies have all kind of blended together for me. But I think this might be the most torture porny of them all. For most of the traps, I couldn't even figure out how the self-mutilation they had to do even worked to get them out. There's two traps in particular that I'm like, so if you do this, how does that mean that you can now get out of the trap? And how does that? It didn't make any sense to me. It's like the director really wasn't concerned. They just wanted to show people doing awful things to themselves. This one might also be the one where you have to really practice your suspension of disbelief because of like a lot of the other ones, just how fast these traps come together. But these ones come together fast. And the fact that these people are so quick to hack themselves up. I have to kind of roll my eyes and laugh because I just don't think that would happen. Or they're just a bunch of idiots. So good acting, ultra gory, but ridiculous. And for me, not up there with one of the best, closer to like low tier Saw. What did you think of this one, Jason?
It's very well made. It looks good. It seems like the budget is higher. This is Tobin Bell's best performance as Jigsaw. They put in a lot of throwbacks, which I'm sure made the Saw people very happy. I mean, Shawnee Smith is in this movie. They had not been on screen together in 17 years or something like that since Saw 3. So if you're a huge Saw fan, I absolutely understand why this movie is rated highly, because it's a return of Saw. It is so torture porny. Oh my God. There is a scene with a woman cutting her leg off that is just the exact reason I did not want to watch these movies. I was like, the last movie, I'm finally at the point where I'm like so over this shit. The traps had gotten so elaborate, it felt like they wanted to dumb them down again. Because, I mean, the guy basically had a nuclear reactor in one of his traps towards the end of the series. So,
oh my God.
It's so long. It's pushing 2 hours. Like, why? The story was fine. It was fine. Even though it's a prequel, that's my other problem with it.
Oh.
There's a big finale scene. And you know who's going to live and who's going to die because it's a goddamn prequel. Like, there was zero tension at the end. It's supposed to be this, I don't know. And it's like, but you've seen the other Saw movies. Like, you know, Tobin Bell's not going to die, you fucks. So,
by the way, I know that Jason he hates prequels so much that his body doesn't even produce pre-cum.
Okay. Thank you for that.
So
the more you know.
That's one to grow on.
I can't top that. It's, as a Saw movie, it's fine. I didn't love it. It's too torture porny. And it's a prequel. But it's well made. And
I prefer less torture, more porny.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
So there you go.
It was very angelic. I was just captivated.
By the way, I think tonight we should acknowledge the return of our old school cult leader, Pam Morris, has been in the chat tonight for the first time in a long time.
Sucking on a teat, she said.
Yeah,
I did notice that.
She says no sauce for me. Nope. Pam, Jack and I agree with you. It's not going to happen over on this side of the screen over here.
She's sipping on her evening teat. That's good for you.
I got to find a teat. All right.
We need more teats on this show.
To wait till the show's over.
All right. I have been kind of on the hunt for 2023 movies as we head into the end of the year. And a movie that I heard mentioned a couple of times is called Dark Harvest. So I was looking
I
for
don't
something
think
to
I saw
watch
this.
one night. What?
I think I saw this.
This is based on a book with the pumpkin on it, right?
Yeah, so it's a creature feature that's kind of got like a Children of the Corn vibe to it because it takes place in some Midwestern town with cornfields and stuff. And basically, I don't know if it's the 50s or 60s it takes place in. Kind of like a Godzilla movie. Every year around on Halloween, all the like high school boys have to hunt down this monster called Sawtooth Jack that rises out of the cornfield and tries to get to the church in the middle of town, and they have to find him and kill him. And whoever does it gets like money and like a Corvette, and it's like taken care of. So every year they do this. I heard people I heard the premise, and I'm like, I don't know about this.
I can't remember
David
who wrote the
Slade.
book.
Oh,
And then I watched a couple of like, horror YouTubers that I watch for like movie reviews and stuff, and a couple of them are like, "Oh my god, I love this movie." A couple of other people were on the fence, but everybody said like, "Oh, well, the creature's cool anyway." So it's like, all right, let me just watch it because I don't want to like not watch it, and then in 6 months I watch it, I go, "Damn, that would have made my list." Yeah, so there's the monster.
Pumpkinhead's emaciated brother.
It kind of looks like it's a cross between Pumpkinhead and the Trick or Treat dude,
Oh, Sam.
Sam.
They're all
And-
wearing Misfits masks.
They're wearing a variety of masks, but a few of them are wearing those skeleton
One up
masks.
there, it's the same one I got.
is this the one based on the book where the
By Norman
parents kill the
Partridge.
kids because of climate change?
No,
No. Third one of that is coming out, I think.
I'm gonna say this:
Good for
this movie was way better than I expected it to be. I don't think it's gonna make my top list. Spoiler: it's not gonna make my top 10 list or anything. But it was like a good meat and potatoes video store kind of level that I was entertained by. I watched it on Amazon Prime, like $5. Creature feature, it's Chinese food. You eat it, satisfies you, move on to the next meal. You're hungry.
I
again.
love Chinese food.
Yeah. So, the ending. Oh, you know who's in this? Jeremy Davies, who was Dickie Bennett on Justified. He's the coward guy from Saving Private
Yes,
Ryan.
I love Dickie.
Yeah, he's the father in the Black Phone, I think. The
Yeah.
abusive father. He's awesome. He's a father in this too.
Where'd you see this movie, by the way?
Rented it on Prime.
Prime. All right.
It's like $5.
I almost bought that book a million times. It's by Norman Partridge. So I
It's
got to check out the movie.
again like just set the bar at meat and potatoes horror, not.
Dude, I'll take meat and potatoes. This whole year I've been getting like string beans and a fucking bunch of frozen peas.
Yeah, I like this better
So-
than many other movies that are like kind of in the middle of the pack. So yeah,
Meat and potatoes, I feel like that's what we've been missing from the genre all year. Are just
Yeah.
like the standard good horror movies.
Yep.
All right, I gotta check this out.
anybody got anything else?
No.
All right, let's delve into some Hispanic, satanic. Let's go into the main feature.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Satanic Hispanics.
Well
There
said.
you go. You just need some time to collect your thoughts.
Yes. An anthology movie, all Latino directors, the guy from Blair Witch, the guy from Terrified, some other ones. Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite
Napoleon.
is like in the lead
Wait
story.
a second. Was he's the wraparound dude?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the rapper. He's the whatever traveler.
It just hit me now. I didn't think of that. Holy crap. All right.
Um,
His hair was hot.
The wraparound dude.
The wraparound.
They're
So
better than
I
the
saw
return,
this
dude.
movie and I really liked it. I thought I'm not an anthology guy. I thought that some of these stories were like top shelf, and there was like particularly one that didn't really work for me, but I'll get into it in spoiler. So we all know I like this movie. Who would like to go first? Hunter.
All right. So anybody who's watched the show knows I do not like anthologies. I like the Creep Show. I like Trick or Treat. And everything else can go wipe my ass.
Hey, VHS 2, take that back.
No, I
Southbound.
like a couple of VHSs. You're
Southbound.
right. No, I did not like
I
that movie.
love Southbound.
Yeah, no, I'd rather shave my nuts. So I came into this movie with my usual bias against anthology movies. And I always says, all right, I'll watch it during the day, whatever. Here's the deal. I watched this movie starting and stopping it over the course of like 5 hours. And I still really liked it. I was shocked by how much fun I had in this movie because I think they got it right. It's hard. I think in a small vignette, it's hard you can't make too expansive a world and you can't make it too tiny, right? So it's very hard. It's like writing a short story. Chad, Jason, writing a short story is probably the hardest thing that you're ever going to write.
Tough.
Right. So that's why anthologies to me usually suck. You're like, oh, this one story is kind of good. The rest suck. The majority of these stories were really good. And because there was a bit of humor, there was a bit of terror, and I don't know. It shocked the hell out of me. I thought for sure I'd be the naysayer in this one, but sorry. I actually enjoyed this. I enjoyed most of them. One of them I was like, I completely tuned out on. I was like, whatever. I got work to do. I'll answer some emails.
I think we'll all probably agree on which one that is.
Yeah. But the rest I thought was good. The wraparound's great. Knowing now it was Pedro the entire time is even better. Because my daughter is dating a guy who looks like Pedro, and we all just make fun of him. When he comes around, we just go, vote for Summer. Hoping he doesn't hear.
Liger. Pretty much my favorite animal. All right. Now I'm curious. Hunter.
Yeah.
Who do we want to go next?
Oh.
I'm really curious as to what Chad thought of this. Do we save him for last or do we get right to him?
No, I think we saved Chad for last.
Okay.
I'm going to go last.
Jason.
I liked it. No surprise there. I like anthologies. This is a very well done anthology. It's an interesting blend because the first story is very serious. The second story, what the hell was the second story? Now I can't remember.
Vampire, wasn't it?
The vampire.
Yeah,
Was that the second one? The vampire?
Well, there's the wraparound story. Is the first story. Oh, all right. So the first story is the guy with the lights in the house.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the Rubik's Cube. Yeah, I really liked that story. I thought that was a interesting take where they were just a hint of math and problem solving and how that could be used to kind of alter doorways to different worlds and stuff. I thought that was really neat.
That's the guy who did Terrified, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could tell.
You can tell.
You could tell so much. Yeah.
I want a full movie based on that story. I would watch that all day, every day. And then I thought they did a cool job. Some of the colors and the windows with the different colored panels played throughout the movie. I thought that was an interesting touch.
Is that just Mexican culture, or is that on purpose for the movie? That's what I was wondering.
I have no idea.
Because I noticed it too.
They did a great job bringing humor in,
Yes.
which can make or break a movie like this if the humor doesn't work.
Fantastic job.
But I thought the humor was really good. I dug it. I didn't like the middle segment, which I'm sure we'll talk about with the drug dealer guys in the woods. I didn't get the story at all. That just did not I thought it actually was pretty well shot. It was kind of intense at a few points, but the story was just not there. And it's too long. Hour and 52 minutes for an anthology is that's a big ask. But otherwise, really solid movies. I would have never watched this had you not recommended it, because I would not have even seen who all was a part of it, who I really like. So I'm glad you mentioned this because I dug it. This might make my list. I'm curious to see.
I'm with you right there.
No doubt for me.
Wow.
Lutsky.
Okay.
I never know with you. I'm like this.
You're like Charlie Day. You're a wild
You're a
card,
wild card.
bitches.
Yeah, I was entertained, but like Jason said, I think it was too long. The one story, the same one I think we're all talking about, I don't even know how it made it in there or why it was in there. There really wasn't even a story to me.
I didn't get it.
Oh, that one.
And not even 5 minutes went by and we were into the next story, and I could not remember how it ended. It just
I'm trying to think right now how it ended. I'm like,
yeah, it was not good.
It just went poof.
It was not good at all. So yeah, so I did not like that one. The vampire one got a little silly for me, but I still was able to appreciate it. Obviously, the terrified one I loved. I had completely forgotten, Jack, that you had said all of the different directors. And then when I saw the Terrified sticker on the back of the laptop, I was like, oh, they're paying homage to Terrified. That's really cool. It must be a Spanish thing. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Jack said that that guy did one of these. This must be the one. As it played on, it was like, it was so obvious that that was the one. Loved that one. Man, I just love that guy's stuff. I cannot wait for him to come up with a new movie.
Yeah.
Really liked the what was the other one?
The demon one?
Yeah, that was
Demon.
funny. Yeah, that was a good one.
And
That
then the
was
wraparound.
Yeah, and then the reach around. So yeah, it's just the one that I didn't really like, and the vampire one was like, yeah, this is okay, but it did get a little silly for me. But there were a couple in there that I really liked a lot. But it's not something I would have probably paid for to see, and I don't know. It's probably not going to make my list. But if somebody likes anthologies or yeah, then I would recommend this. I think it's up there with I mean, there's a lot of really bad anthology ones out there.
Oh, too
But
many.
in some of these would be so much better if they would just like maybe like this would be more digestible if they dropped the 20 minutes of the whatever drug dealing thing or whatever that was. Just drop that, man. That would be, because you're just kind of going like, you know, did it start out with the terrified one? Is that how it started out?
Starts with the
Yes.
wraparound story, and then it
Well,
goes.
yeah. Other than that, yeah. I mean, so you set the bar high, and then you just like freaking plummet.
Well,
with that.
everything had an element of humor but that story.
Yes.
And it just dragged.
Yeah.
And when you're
Yeah.
watching an anthology, you're not sure when it's going to run out of gas, or if, like, you know, you watch one, it's great. Like that VHS one, like 2 times ago, where the people go into the other dimension. Like that one segment was great, and the rest of the movie,
Yep.
who cares?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
one, you keep waiting. Like, are the wheels coming off? And so that one, you're like, oh, is this it? And then it rebounds hard, because the one with the demon after that is, to me, amazing.
By the way, I like that one so much. I have renamed my Schwantz from George Thoroughly Good to the Hammer of Zanzibar.
the hammer of,
I
mean,
I might get that tattooed in the area because that's freaking awesome.
because here's a few things that made me love this movie. Number one of the most interesting wraparound stories ever, if not the best one.
Yeah.
Very good.
That, how many movies bobbled the ending, fumble on the goal line,
And it came to a logical conclusion.
and it's got one of the greatest endings of an anthology. Like, you're like, maybe that standalone thing was great. So, like, strong wraparound. It was just like another segment of the movie. It wasn't just filler. I love the vampire one. I thought it was hilarious. And then I'm like, okay, so you got first the haunted house one. I'm not going to go into too many spoilers, but that one had, like, it was dancing the line of humor and then like grotesque. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Then they did the vampire one that was hilarious. Then they had that folk werewolf thing that I don't think any of us liked. And I agree, it makes the movie too long. I don't really get it, and that's the problem one.
Yep.
It rebounds hard with Zanzibar's hammer, or whatever the hell it's called. That I mean, I was laughing the next day about that, and I'm still laughing about it.
Oh,
So
man,
this,
love
I thought, like, it balanced the humor and horror, and when you had, what was it, 4 out of 5 of the segments, I thought were great. So, and I don't like anthologies. I'm not even a creep show and whatever. I don't care about those movies that much.
I really think if you trim out that middle segment, I don't know how long it was, 15, 20 minutes, probably like the rest. And you have this at an hour and a half, and every segment is really damn good. I think this is like an all-timer for an anthology. But that middle segment, it looked good. Like it was shot in an intense way. The story was just non-existent and just
sucked.
Man, I didn't dig that.
The clicker, baby.
I think
So it looks like Eduardo Sanchez is the one who did the vampire one.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I have been dreaming of an Eduardo Sanchez movie again. We've got to be pushing 10 years
a
since
long
he's done
time.
one.
Exists? Is that the last?
It might be his last.
Jesus.
And I just love his style. I dug all of his movies. He's doing TV now. I understand he probably makes way more money and it's a lot less of a headache, but I just miss Eduardo Sanchez movies.
Ty West did a lot of TV. And
Exactly.
hopefully gets a hankering. But by the way, you can watch this movie on Amazon. It's like $5.99, $6.99.
I think it was
Amazon.
$6. I think it was $6.
So yeah, that's where you can catch it.
I think that without giving any spoilers, I think the two parts that I found the funniest were, I think it was toward the beginning. I laughed out loud when they had the guy chained up doing the gun, and the cops just kept coming. Yeah, the humor in that one was very dry.
Yeah,
especially for that scene where some people might not understand that this is funny. And the other one,
sorry, good. That was good.
The other one was where they're having that when the guy is telling them about the hammer, and he's saying how he got this thing in the first place.
He went so deep inside me.
Oh yeah, and they're just like, this guy's not getting it.
And then when they did like the hammer Zanzibar, like the words came up on the screen. I was like, this is awesome, man. Then I wanted to see Machete after this.
I'm telling you, when that segment, because I was enjoying the vampire one, the folk thing comes on, I'm like, Hammer Zanzibar. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Thank you. Yes.
What I liked so much about the vampire one is all the references to old vampire stuff that they immediately turned into a gag.
Yeah.
Like him trying to control his wife and being like she was what's his name? The
Renfield?
Dracula's servant.
Renfield.
Like doing stuff like that and then immediately taking it back because they're like an old married couple.
Yeah.
I thought the writing was the exact opposite of the segment right after that. The writing in that one was phenomenal.
How about the fact he could only control one person at a time? When
that was funny.
Had to go back and forth trying to get them to stop him shooting him. That was hysterical.
Yeah,
Want to get into spoilers?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, if you haven't seen this movie, we all recommend it to some degree.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear the spoiler conversation,
now you're ready for communion.
Now. Okay. The Hammer of Zanzibar. Hunter, tell us about the Hammer of Zanzibar.
Well, it's basically a petrified dong from a demon that you could use it to bludgeon another demon to death with. I thought at one point that he was going to ram it up that demon's ass. I'm like, naturally, I thought this is where it's going, because to get said dong, the guy who constantly was getting, his shit pushed in from a demon and loved it, I thought, okay, well, this is where it's going to go. Didn't quite go as far, but the fact that you were beating up a demon with another demon's dick was absolutely ridiculous and fun as hell.
That guy's description of getting banged by the demon over and over, and they were just like, it sounds like it was just a dude, and his description made it sound like he was just having gay sex with this guy over and over and over. was so good.
That was
It
very
was
funny.
it stopped me in my tracks. I was walking around the room doing something. I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
I
because
was like, sat right down.
the vampire one, especially for me, I'm
Yeah.
watching it and I'm like, oh my god, this is really funny. It's really well written, and it was like a great short film in an anthology. It had a beginning, middle, and end. It had a journey. It kept you guessing,
Yes.
and I was like, oh, that was a great little short film. And so I'm like, okay, so I've had like this scary thing, but it's really interesting at that. The middle one, and then you get to this, and I'm like, okay, this is like funny, but it's like a whole different brand of funny.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, my God, like that's when I knew it was like I'm going through the wilderness. I'm like, oh, they're not going to land the plane. They're going to fumble it, and then instead they score and they get the 2-point conversion. Like it was,
I'm impressed you like the vampire one too, because you're not married. There's marriage shit in there that you have to have gone through it to get the full context of it. And I was like,
it's been a couple of weeks, but doesn't he pull somebody's arm off and was like,
yes,
Mhm.
it beats him with the arm.
Didn't the end of the Dong one, didn't that end with like ambiguous, like did he just kill a bunch of people?
Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah, you couldn't tell if he actually was
Like
in a
he was
restaurant murdering
hallucinating,
people.
yeah.
So the
Yeah.
illusion was broken. So maybe that was how the demon got him. Thinking
Well, he
was an
must have,
illusion within an
because
illusion.
the demon dick was in custody. So the cops like if he had just been in a room, they wouldn't have still had it, you know.
The demon
yeah, I
dick
think he
was in
killed him.
custody.
but then
By the
how
way,
about-
that
sorry.
segment has an amazing jump scare when he shoots her with the shotgun.
Yeah.
My wife almost shit in her pants. She was taking a drink.
When he
and it
shot
had,
her
like, a
under the
ton of-
table?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That was so out of freaking nowhere. I was like, that was so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. It reminded me of From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah,
I thought he'd have like the codpiece fucking gun going right there, which would have been great.
I wanted to go back to the first segment with the Rubik's Cube and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell it is about that guy's style that is just intense.
Mhm.
He's like, it's a guy shining a flashlight in a weird order, like 10 times in a row. And you're like, okay, what the? But then you just see somebody go around the corner, just like 5 frames. And you're like, oh God, okay, this is intense. That's all you saw. And it was so good.
But the fact that he put the delivery person in first with the helmet and their delivery bag. So there's a little bit of humor in there, but it's so dark.
Yeah.
and then when he
It's
brings the
so different.
paranormal investigator guy in, and he's like, I gotta go, and he leaves, and you're like, what the hell is making that guy?
Yeah, what did
Yeah.
he see that I didn't see?
He saw
Uh,
his mother. Oh, okay. I thought you forgot.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody sees something different, which I
Yeah.
thought was weird.
Great
I
touch.
wasn't crazy about. I don't get the ending. Is it a time
I didn't
loop
get it.
thing?
I didn't get it either.
It was some I don't know if it was like a talk to me type thing. You know, like this is really him looking at
Himself?
yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. But I enjoyed the journey to get there. I didn't really care about the ending
And
because it
the
was creepy
gory
enough.
the goriness in the kitchen or wherever the heck
Thing
it is.
under
Oh.
the table. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome, man.
I think that was practical effects too, which made it even better.
Yeah,
And
that
I mean,
looked crazy.
I was so happy that anytime that and this guy did this in Terrified as well. And I think when Evil Lurks, where a lot of horror movies where when the guy went back into the house to look for this thing, it would just be gone. But it had moved, but it was still there, and I liked that. Just because it was different. The same reason why I liked was it called The Witch in the Window? Is that what
Yeah.
it was called?
Oh,
I
with
loved
the-
that movie.
with
These
the-
guys
with
didn't
the-
like it, but I loved it.
With the son and the father up there, instead of the ghost just not being there, whatever, the ghost is still just sitting there, no matter how close they get. And you normally don't do that with supernatural stuff. It's like it's there and then it's gone. And so, of course, until we see it again. But so those two are, I guess examples of what I like to see, where it's like, man, we're used to just having this, now they got to try to explain, the same old thing. Like, I swear it was right there, but the thing was still there trying to crawl away.
It was still there, and the dude goes up and hugs it, and you're like, "Oh God!"
By the way, can I put this out there, Mike Toten? If you're going to build a hammer of Zanzibar, I need it more than Jason does.
Whoa,
Just so
whoa,
you
whoa,
know.
whoa, whoa, whoa! I will hang that above.
No, fuck that.
Right here, right here.
I will build an altar.
This is my movie. This is my movie. I want the hammer.
I just
Well,
renamed my
listen to you guys
swans
fighting over a dildo.
the Hammer of Zanzibar. So I'm just going to
If
put
you
that
make,
out
if you build the hammer of Zanzibar, I need video of you etching this giant dick out of a piece of wood.
there. I will dedicate my next book to you. There you go. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, that's
HunterShay1@gmail.com if you want to talk.
oh, God.
I will mention you in the news.
Giant dildos for everyone, he said.
But you're right, Jason. That's Terrified Guy. That was 100% worthy of a full length film.
Yes.
Yeah,
sure.
that was. Of
Yeah.
all of them, that was the one that was
Yeah.
worthy of a full movie.
But the wraparound, that freaking ending with the dude coming into the police station and the shootout and its
He was cool.
transformation,
That thing looked
It was
cool.
that was awesome. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this again, this ending, I'm like, this is like the ending of an anthology movie, and it's like the most exciting segment of the whole thing. Like,
It almost reminded me of the police station scene in *Malignant*.
yeah.
There was so much craziness going on in there. I was like,
I love the transformation of the creature from like the Western gunman into that Aztec thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it looked great.
It did.
And Pedro moves from town to town, so maybe we'll get another one.
The whole time I wish I knew that was Pedro. Damn it.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that either.
The combination of horror and humor that really worked for me. I just that one segment pulls it down, but in retrospect, like it's out of my head now. All I'm thinking about is the good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care about that bad segment. It
It just-
wasn't
the
enough to
movie's
drag it down.
the movie's too long, and when it's obvious what the problem is, you know what I mean? Like
Director's
they
cut.
probably didn't want to hurt someone's feelings. I don't know, but man, you got to cut that shit out of there.
It was so different from the rest. Like again, they're all well made. All of them
Yeah.
are well made.
All of them.
It's just it was missing that bit that they all. There was a through line through all of them. It was comedy and terror and ridiculousness.
Yeah, it
That
didn't
one
feel
had
at
none of
place.
Whatever.
Tina shockingly knows about a dildo company that makes demon dicks.
All right, Tina, we need to talk. We'll talk offline, Tina. God, I love her.
All right, maybe that's where we stop the conversation.
Yeah, let's stop that with the company
Can't
that
top that.
makes demon dicks.
Tina
right.
already has the hammer of Zanzibar.
Tina just dropped the hammer on this episode.
All I know is in 2024, I want a fucking hammer of
Yes.
Zanzibar.
Well,
above
you
my
know,
head.
if he's got a 3D printer, he could just make one for all of us.
Please, dear God, that's all I'm asking.
How about a Zanzibar keychain?
No, I want the full size.
Hey, you could have different size ones for like a bottle opener.
Toothbrush.
magnet.
Actually, a keychain, one of those that's a bottle opener for the balls, that would be perfect. That's perfect.
Flashlight at the end.
Flashlight.
Fleshlight.
Flashlight. All right. So next week we're gonna do a Christmas movie. We're gonna do
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Knife, which is on Shudder. So it'll be our Christmas episode. Because we're like 2 weeks from Christmas, and I haven't done any shopping whatsoever.
I'm so screwed.
Oh, I don't care. Whatever.
I got most of mine done.
Oh, you're lucky.
I'm going on Amazon.com soon, and only things that will be delivered within 2 days will be perfect.
Gift cards for everyone when I go to CVS.
CVS.
All right. Anything else to say, fellas?
No.
Done.
Smash that like button. Spread the news. There you
Yep.
go.
Do that.
All right. We'll see y'all next week on Final Guys.
Bye.